Okay, we've got another good question. Why is whiskey sometimes spelled without an E?
That is a good question. I'm curious.
It's a good question, and it's a complex one. Whiskey is a very old craft, a very old tradition. And as whiskey developed, so did the English language. The Scots were producing it at a bigger level than anybody else at the time, a couple hundred years ago. And Scotch whiskey has no E. So any Scotch, the aforementioned Glenlivet, Glenfiddich, Balvenie, Aberlour, Macallan, any of those will be spelled without an E. But as the expansion of whiskey production grew into Ireland, for instance, on a mass scale, they began spelling whiskey with an E. So all your Jamesons, your Tullamore Dew, all those, they're going to have an E. When you get outside of there, it starts getting a little more complicated. So Canada, no E. Canadian whiskey, which is mostly rye, no E. American bourbon has an E. So Whiskey, except for some reason, Maker's Mark, who just want to be difficult and screw everything up. And I think there are a couple more that don't come to mind at the moment, but definitely Maker's Mark is one of them that spells it without an E, but they should. Maybe they save on ink, and all that money they save on ink goes to the wax that they put over their bottles. And then the other large producing nation of whiskey, Japan, which they try to emulate the Scots as much as possible in everything, in production and in tastes and everything. They, of course, do not use an E either. But that's a great question. That's from Roy from Wisconsin. Thanks, Roy. All right. Is bourbon the same as Tennessee whiskey? Asks George of Seattle, Washington. No, it is not the same thing. We mentioned before, bourbon needs to be 51% or higher corn malt and has to be aged in 3 years in virgin white American oak. Tennessee whiskey or any American whiskey that doesn't fall under bourbon clearly breaks one of those rules. Famously, Jack Daniels is a Tennessee whiskey. There's a couple other ones. Not a fan. Not a fan. I'll prefer my bourbons. Well, thanks for the question, George.
Oh, it does go down a little faster.
It goes down faster. Hey gang, thanks for watching, and if you like what you saw, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitter.